Okay, can you hear me okay? Can I start?
Yeah, you can start.
Sure, okay. So my name is Ronen Hahn. I'm from Israel. Two main issues in my talk. One is about Waldorf in Israel, and the second one is the Hartmodel, which I want to share with you. I'll start from what's happening today in Israel. Well, today on the left, you can see the corona numbers, and the numbers are growing. In the middle, you can see we have a peace agreement with the Arab Emirates and maybe with other Arab countries, which is very interesting and make us enthusiastic. And on the right, there's a very big protest against the prime minister, which is getting huge. And of course, it's interesting to us what is the connection between the protest and the numbers of the corona. It's a different lecture, but we believe that the numbers of the corona are connected to the protest. But this is not the subject of today, but just to tell you where I'm coming from and what is happening in the last weeks in Israel. This is my family. My wife, it's connected to our lecture. She's a Waldorf school principal, and my three children. The two boys are grown up in Waldorf school, and they both are working now in computers in the Israeli industry. And my little girl, she's 15 now, and she's in the Waldorf high school. And I'm also a biography counselor, so I must tell you things about my biography. I met anthroposophy when I was 19. Then I studied electronic engineering, and later, age of 35, I went to learn biography and organization development. And since the age of 41 till today, I'm working also in Waldorf training program and organization development. Age of 52, I joined IMO, and today I'm 57. And on the right, what I'm doing now, I'm also leading the IMO Israeli group. You can see my lovely group at the bottom. This is Israel. I live in a city which is called Ramat Gan, which is near Tel Aviv. It's in the center of Israel. And now about Waldorf in Israel. Waldorf in Israel, at least anthroposophy in Israel, very interesting. I think we're quite unique because we don't have in Israel anthroposophic society and no secretary and no website and the anthroposophic point of level. Nothing in Israel is organized, but it's really growing. And the Waldorf school, well, the first school was established in 89, so it's 31 years of Waldorf schools in Israel. And the number of the school today is 34 basic school, 10 high school, and about 200 kindergarten. And the growth is very interesting. Because at the beginning, at the first 10 years, it was every few years was another school. But since the year of 2000, every year there's another one or two school. And the most, I think, interesting number is in the red. Every year in the last years, there's 15% more children in Waldorf community comparing to the year before. And it's really big growth. It might be even more, but we don't have enough teachers, always lack of teachers. Another uniqueness of Waldorf, I think, in Israel, on one hand, most of the school in Israel, the children are Jewish, and the language is Hebrew. And it's both interesting how to transform Waldorf it started from Europe to the Jewish religion and to the Hebrew language. Also, there are a few schools which are Arabic, and the language there is Muslim. And there is few kindergarten which are bilingual. I mean, together we work there of children who are Muslim and Jewish together, and use the both languages. Another very interesting stream, quite new, the Jewish, it's the image in the bottom right, Jewish religious people are also interested in Waldorf, and we start to have Waldorf schools with religious people, which on the beginning will sound strange, but it works quite well and very, very interesting. So kind of uniqueness of Waldorf in Israel. We have three types of schools in Israel. In the left, we have Waldorf public school, which are financed by the government. It has control and parents' payment. We have semi-publics in the middle, which are less finance, less control, and much higher parents' payment. And on the right, an interesting way in which we have a regular school, conventional, but it has Waldorf classes inside the school. So it's kind of an incubation. It means you can be there 2 years or maybe 8 years inside the convention school, and then you become an independent Waldorf school. It's an interesting system. It's very easy to establish and very difficult, the relationship inside those schools, but it's an interesting way how to start school. There are more than few schools like that in Israel. There was a big change starting 5 years ago. On the right, it's the education minister, by the way, it's a religious person that started 5 years ago to make the Waldorf school and also other alternative school to become public, which means very important. It was recognition, the first time that the Ministry of Education recognized Waldorf as a legitimate way of study, which is very important. We're very proud. But as you can imagine on the right, there are a few issues that came with this. The demand for teachers who are certified, now it's much more than in the past, and even more difficult, the demand for school managers or principals, they also should be certified. This is a real challenge for us in the world of today. And also they're starting much more payment control, how much parents are paying. It's also bothers us, but it's also, I think, opportunity to make even the parents' payment become less than before. So it's also an opportunity as I see it. In general, when I look at all Waldorf system, at least in Israel, I see we kind of a junction. If this is Waldorf today, then on the right, we can keep the conservative and the traditional Waldorf as it is. It's a big trend. Let's keep the Waldorf as it was in the past. But on the left, we can see other movement when school, more and more school with the teachers are not so much trained, and the Waldorf becomes there something which is losing the roots and become only a method. And what, as I believe, we have to take the main road here, which is how to renew the Waldorf. Not to keep only the past, but how to take what we know so far and make it relevant for today anywhere where we can, when we can. Of course, we have Corona in Israel. Few things very good happened with the Corona. The networking of the teachers. We talked about it in the past. You should be connected, but it didn't work. And suddenly we have to Corona, and then all the third class teachers of all Israel, suddenly they're working together in Zoom and they're working together in WhatsApp group, and suddenly they're all connected, which is great. But of course, because of the Corona, we have three main questions. One is pedagogic. How can we teach children? How can we work with them with Zoom? It's so much not Waldorf oriented. How should we do it? Second file concerning should we fire teachers? Because we have issue with money. And third question, what about the parents? Parents said, should we pay the school when there was a quarantine? So all these three questions started in the middle of last year, and they still exist today, and we are facing them every day. And we can see very clear that those three signs, the junction that I told you before. I started working with this junction, I think 2 or 3 years ago, but with the Corona, it's so clear. On the right, the traditional way, we should not use Zoom at all in Waldorf. It's not allowed. On the left, we should do anything that the government will tell us. And the main road, how can we create with Waldorf school when we have Corona? I have a very good paper that came to me yesterday. It's one of my clients, a school, and they developed a very nice system how to work with Zoom, with children, how in the first class, how in the 8th class. And I think at the end of the lecture, there's a link to that paper. You can use Google Translate and see how they work. This is the first sentence and the last sentence of the paper. I would just want to read with you the last words that this manager said. Flexibility, imagination, creativity, critical thinking. These are the qualities required of us educators in our education action in this time. The same quality that we hope to instill in our students, qualities that need to be adapted and function in a rapidly evolving and changing world. That wrote the manager yesterday. He sent this paper to all the parents of the school, how we work in Corona times with children. So this is also a recommendation. Be flexibility, use imagination, be creativity. Another new trends in the Israeli, how to start a school. The old way was a group of parents said we want to school and then you have a school. Most of the school of Israel became like this, but now I can see three new trends in Israel. The first one, that not parents want to have a school, but the city mayor, the city municipality said, we want a world of school in our city. This is something really new. I saw it in 2 cities in Israel, very enthusiastic. The city wants to have a world of school. The second, school which are not Waldorf, they define themselves regular school, but we want to take elements from Waldorf system. And they're going to training program, they do all kinds of interesting things. We have today 3 or 4 like that. I think that in 10 years, we're gonna be 30 schools like that, or even more. And number 3, so far all School of Israel had association with payment of parents. And now there's a new trend. I know only 1 school like that in Israel. They said, we will have a world of school without association, without additional payment. We use only government money. It's new, it's not easy, but it's interesting. So 3 new trends in Israel. We can talk, of course, hours about management, but I will say 2 things about the management of World of School in Israel. The first one, we're working a lot with the mandates, and it gave us on one hand an autonomy, but on the other hand, it helped us to manage the school, and it brings the responsibility higher than before when using the mandate system. And there's a big change in the role of the managers. I think in 10, 15 years ago, there was lots of resistance to the word manager and hierarchy, but there was a big change now. And today we can say, at least as I see it, that management it's a profession, and to be a manager is a profession. It's not just one of the school teachers. And managers has to have training, skills, and supervisor. If you go to industry, of course, it's everybody said, of course, nothing new in it, but in world of school, it's new. And we see this, that you have to know what you do if you are managing a school. And if I'm use the words of IMO, horizontal or vertical, so the managers are working, just a second. So the managers are working also on the hierarchical axis, in the vertical axis, but also horizontally as organization leaders. Of course, we can talk much more about it. Another opportunity. So that was the first part of things about what's happening in Israel according to management and how to establish new schools in Israel. And I was also to contribute to this conference with the Hartmodel, which I'm using, which started with the Hartmodel as a model for collegium, and later on also to the caring team and the managers. So it started in 2006. In the picture, maybe you can recognize him. It's Christoph Wichert. And at that time, he was the head of the Dornach education section. And he gave the idea how to work with the Hartmodel for the collegium. What I did later, since 2006, once I was working with many schools, how to make the collegium more as a Hartmodel, but something new is also the management of world of school can work in the Hartmodel. And I will tell you a little bit more about this Hartmodel. We're starting with the words of Rudolf Steiner that said, the collegium meeting is the heart of the school. And also this meeting will make the school an organism in the same way that the human body is an organism through its heart. Very interesting. In the same way that the human body is an organism through its heart. How can we use this word? And of course, Steiner used the word heart, not just as he took the image of the heart, and it's very important to know how the heart and the blood is working. So I'll remind you a few things from biology courses. If the heart is in the middle, So number one is blood is coming from all over the body to the heart. And then blue it's mean with less oxygen. Blue blood is going from the heart to the lung. It's go when we breathe fresh blood with red with oxygen coming back to the heart, and then it's go back to all over the body. And we took at that workshop these 4 qualities, and we make them qualities for the collegium, and later on for all kind of looking at organization. Number 1 is the sensing, how we sense the body. Number 2 is connection to the vision. Number 3, contact with the world. And number 4 is nourishing. By the way, of course, you can get this PowerPoint after the conference today. So let's take a look at these 4 qualities, but just to remember, these 4 qualities are connected to how the heart works in our body. And we want to take these qualities to the collegium meeting and also maybe also to the management. But let's start with the collegium. So number 1 was that blood is coming from every part of my body to my heart all the time. And it means that the heart is sensing what is happening in the body. So the heart is not a pump, but the heart has a living connection between the center and the periphery of the body. So we want to make the collegium meeting something that senses what's happening in the school. How to sense? We can sit in a circle and share what's happening. We can sit in couples and share what's happening. The issue is basic questions which I can offer you. What is the situation in the school? Or what changed in the school since last week? For example, teacher said, we have a little bit more violence since last week. Or the parents are a little bit more anxious about something. Event, feeling, atmosphere, but the most important that is below. We know and feel our body. We know and feel our school. Is something happening in the school? At least once in the week in the collegium, we will touch it, we will sense it, and we will know that something is happening. And I recommend in this part, no need for discussions or solution, just we feel what is happening in our school. So this is the sensing quality of the heart. Number 2, we connected that the way that the heart is we're going up to the lungs, we connected to the vision. We're going up and see what is our vision. And the idea is every week we ask somehow ourselves who we are and why, what we do, for example, in the school. It doesn't have to start with the vision from the beginning every week, but we want to touch the issue of the vision every week in the collegium meeting. And we can do it if we work in mandate system, we can do it through the mandate. For example, if the mandate of human resources, we can ask ourselves what kind of teacher we want that will be in our school, what qualities we want to have them. Just an example. But the main issue is below. Every week, we group of teachers ask ourselves what is our uniqueness and how can we touch every week to the vision. So every week we remember why we do what we do. We have so many issues, difficult, not easy. Always touch the vision, like the heart, which is doing it every time. Number 3 is connection to the world. To be connected to the world. I gave the picture below. It's a school with a fence around it. And sometimes I see teachers that say, everything that outside the fence is bad, and my task is to protect the children from the bad world outside. So I want to say the world outside the fence is not bad, but we have to be in good connection with what's happening outside the fence. I'll give you an example of a model. What do I mean good connection with the world? If the blue is our organization, so in general, every school, it's number 1 on the top. Is the school is usually we, the teachers, we look at ourselves and we see how things are going on. Are we okay? Are we not okay? But big connection in the world, for example, is number 2. Am I influence the world? The fact that I'm a world of school, does it make any different in my city, for example? Do I influence in Israel, the whole education in Israel? I mean, influence the world. Number 3, am I open to influence from outside into my school, into the world of? Maybe there's something good that's happening outside in the world. We don't have to take everything, but are we open to new things? And number 4, are we open to feedback? Is it possible that our, for example, inspectors, which usually we don't like them to see them in our school, maybe they have something good to say about our school? So it's a kind of a model that I'm working with about this question.
Hey. Ik denk dat er een technisch probleem is en dat Ronen er even uit ligt.
Yes, I think I lost internet for a second.
Ah, there you are.
Yes, apologize, but I think we are back.
Yeah. You have
yes.
to make, yeah.
Okay, so I'm working with this model with organization, Waldorf and non-Waldorf, about this question, are we connected? And I found this model fruitful, so please try to work it also yourself in your school. And number 4, it's the blood is going from the heart all over the body, is the nourishing quality of our heart. Nourish the body, take blood full with oxygen. So the question is how, I took it to 2 different questions. One, how do we, the teachers, nourish ourselves? Not just working with issues and problems, how we nourish ourselves. And then second question, how do we nourish the whole organization? The fact that we are meeting here, we should nourish. What does it mean to nourish? Again, be creative. It can be study together, make exercise together, but the most important issue, think of the quality of nourishment, especially if you are a managing group. When you are managing an organization, you don't have just to give orders. Think of the idea that you have to nourish the organization. And I thought that in few organizations, when I brought this idea, things were changed even rapidly. So if I'm working about the whole Hartmodel, we have the four qualities. Just to remind them, try to remember them. It was sensing was number 1, vision number 2, the world number 3, and nourishing number 4. I started with the collegium, but then I moved it also to the management of the school, what we call sometimes caring team, and it will and they like it to work with these four qualities also in the caring team. I also recommend you to work with this model in the mandate. For example, the mandate of budget, how the budget is nourishing the school, or how the budget is sensing the school, and so on. So you can use even the mandate, these 4 qualities. And something which the most new that I'm working with this model really started only a few months ago, use this model on the personal level. How is my connection to the world? Am I nourishing myself? But this is complete a new issue also for me, and I am in a level of developing it. So that was quick. And if I'll say final few words about what I want to say, the main issue is one, all over the renewal. I think one of the main issue now for all of, definitely in Israel, maybe all over the world, take all the good things that we have. They came from Steiner 100 years ago, and all kinds of 100 years of development. Don't leave everything behind, but on the other hand, try to renew it, see what's happening in the world, make it relevant. The whole world of management is changing now. Touch this management, change it, and of course, bring leadership. And maybe the last word, which I didn't use so far in my lecture, but is very important to me, and I'm working a lot in school now, work with values. If there is a situation in the school and a change and something is uncertain, ask the teachers, what are the value behind what we're doing? And also I found it very important when you start to work with values, all the atmosphere is changing, new things are come, all the level of the talk become higher. Like we can, when we use the word values, we can connect to the, I will say, to the higher being of ourselves, and of course to the higher being of the school. This is kind of, this is the resource of this the school manager about how we use all kinds of technical issue in the Corona time. And of course, if you want to send any kind of feedbacks to me, you can use my email or my phone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ronen.